city up from the giddy up and giddy up. Just like the Metro Transit, my city bus. Eat him up. Since a young CD buck, been pretty plus sex in the city with pretty lady up pretty much. But all that pretty ain't really up. Pick my city up from the giddy up.
Yo, welcome to Big Motion TV. It's your boy Big Motion here in the building, and today we got another one, man. This one is for my sneakerheads. Well, you know, a lot of people like wearing these sneakers or name brand stuff, especially. I'm finding out these China has just released a video just to, I guess, to interrupt the U.S. economy to show y'all what y'all paying for, and apparently these Jordans and everything, these Nikes, all this expensive stuff, these leather belts and everything, they're going to show you what they really cost and what you really should be paying and how much you getting whooped, man, because I ain't going to hold you. Let's get at it, man, so you can see what I'm talking about.
You are standing inside a Nike store. The lighting is clean and white and designed to make everything look more expensive than it is. The walls are covered with photographs of athletes in mid-flight, mid-sprint, mid-victory. The sneakers sit on illuminated shelves like museum pieces, each one angled slightly, each one spotlit, each one positioned to make you feel like you are not buying a shoe but joining a movement. You reach for a pair of Air Jordans. They are light in your hand, the stitching is neat, the sole has a satisfying flex. You turn them over and look at the price, $250. You wince, but you think, well, they are Jordans. That is what good shoes cost. Michael Jordan wore them. The technology is advanced. The design is iconic. $250 for a piece of athletic engineering. Now let me tell you what you are actually holding. The materials in that shoe, the rubber sole, the synthetic upper, the foam midsole, the laces, the glue, cost about $9. The labor to assemble it, the hands that cut the pattern, stitch the panels, attach the sole, lace the shoe, and placed it in a box, cost about $2.75. The total manufacturing cost of the shoe in your hand, from raw materials to finished product in a box, is somewhere between $15 and $25. You are paying $250 for a $20 product. But the markup is not the most interesting part of this story. The most interesting part is where the shoe was made, WHO made it, and what those same people are doing now with the skills Nike taught them. Because the factories that built Nike's empire have started building something else. Something that Nike cannot control, cannot stop, and cannot compete with on price. And it is coming out of a city in southern China that most people have never heard of. A city that Nike helped create and now desperately wishes did not exist. If you enjoy videos about monopolies hiding in plain sight and the places quietly tearing them apart, before a 26-year-old accountant named and the places quietly tearing them apart, hit like and subscribe so you never miss one. This story starts with a man selling shoes from the trunk of his car. In the spring of 1964, a 26-year-old accountant named Phil Knight drove to a track meet in Oregon with a box of Japanese running shoes in the back of his car. The shoes were made by a company called Onitsuka Tiger, which most people today know as ASICS. Knight had visited the factory in Japan during a trip around the world after graduating from Stanford Business School. He convinced
Onitsuka Tiger is Aces, and people are still paying out the ass for Aces. Make it make sense. So now you know these Jordans that you buying is only worth $25, but they got y'all paying $250. Got you paying $400, $500 for these shoes, man. When you could just go to these companies and tell them make you a pair of Jordans and get them over here for the $50 every pair. But in your mind, you think, oh, they knockoffs, they fakes, they because I didn't pay $250 for it. Tell me what type of mind fuck is that, bro? Tell me how you gotta think. They're telling you. Plain view telling you, like, look, these belts y'all buying for $200, $500, that shit it costs us $10 to make, $20 to make, and we'll sell it to y'all for that much. But you rather go to the stores and the department stores where these people don't want you at, tell you what they think about you, steady taking your money. And this is not just a black thing. This is a white thing too. White people buy Jordans, white people buy Gucci and stuff like that too. So that's just all Americans we're being ripped off from the things we buy. We being sold fake food for the sky high. If you try to eat healthy, it's impossible because that's even more expensive than what your groceries usually cost. We getting fucked and ain't doing nothing about it. But we'll riot for some dumb shit. We'll riot and we'll make a movement for some dumb shit or some dumb shit people tell us. And we steady fighting amongst each other. Do you hear what they just told you? They're selling you a $25 pair of shoes for $250 or better dollars of your hard-earned money. And when the people try to sell y'all for the normal price or less, a motherfucker can't sell y'all no real Jordans for $100. Y'all don't want to buy it because it's too cheap. That's crazy, man. But let's finish listening to this.
The company to let him distribute their shoes in the United States, and he started selling them at track meets, one pair at a time, out of his trunk. His former track coach at the University of Oregon, a man named Bill Bowerman, joined him as a partner. Bowerman was obsessed with making shoes lighter and faster. He experimented with different sole designs in his garage, famously pouring rubber into his wife's waffle iron to create a textured sole that gripped the track better than anything on the market. The company they
Well, y'all hear that? He was testing the rubber soles in his wife waffle iron. This man was determined. And people be wondering why they ain't rich. How many people is that determined? How many people doing stuff like that in their garage, starting the business in their garage from just experimenting and trying to find the lightest rubber, the most stickiest rubber that he could find, and then putting it on the shoe, and then selling the design to Nike for millions and millions and millions and millions and millions and millions of dollars. Shit crazy, ain't it?
founded was called Blue Ribbon Sports. In 1971, they changed the name to Nike, after the Greek goddess of victory. That same year, Nike needed a logo. He asked a graphic design student at Portland State University named Carolyn Davidson to design one. She came up with a curved checkmark shape that she called the swoosh. Knight was not enthusiastic about it. He reportedly told her, "I do not love it, but maybe it will grow on me." He paid her $35. $35 logo is now one of the most recognized symbols on the planet. Nike's annual revenue is approximately $50 billion. Phil Knight's personal net worth exceeds $37 billion.
Boy, they've been ripping everybody off. That's crazy.
The swoosh is printed on shoes, shirts, hats, bags, and billboards in virtually every country on Earth. And the company that started in a trunk now contracts with 785 factories across more than 40 countries. The transformation from trunk to Titan happened because Knight understood something that his competitors did not. He understood that he was not selling shoes. He was selling a feeling. The shoe was just the delivery mechanism. 1988, Nike launched the Just Do It campaign. The slogan was inspired by the last words of a convicted murderer before his execution, which is a piece of history Nike does not love to advertise. But the campaign changed everything. Nike stopped talking about cushioning and arch support and sole technology. It started talking about greatness, about overcoming obstacles, about being more than what you are. Every advertisement was a short film about human potential, and the shoe at the end was the ticket to get there. Then came Michael Jordan. Nike signed Jordan in 1984, when he was a rookie, for $2.5 million over 5 years.
$2.5 million over 5 years. That's the contract Jordan got on his Nike contract when he was a rookie. Yeah, let's keep going.
Other athletes had endorsed shoes before. Jordan became the shoe. The Air Jordan line did not just sell sneakers.
The beginning of the fuckery.
It created a culture. Kids camped outside stores overnight to buy them. People were robbed and even killed for their Jordans in the early 1990s. A shoe became a status symbol so powerful that wearing the wrong pair in certain neighborhoods could have consequences. None of this had anything to do with the physical properties of the shoe. It was entirely about what the shoe represented. And Nike controlled the story. Nike went on to sign Tiger Woods, LeBron James, Serena Williams, Cristiano Ronaldo, and dozens of other athletes whose images became inseparable from the swoosh. The company spends approximately $4 billion per year on marketing and advertising. $4 billion. That is more than the GDP of some.
$4 billion. You know how much? You know what type of brainwashing that is? What type of They drilling it in your mind. Go pay that $250. Go pay that $250. This is what you're supposed to buy with that $250. Y'all people done robbed, killed, took Nikes off of people, man, for shoes that's only worth $25. But in this market, you know what they worth, and y'all see what it's worth. And I wonder how many people are gonna still spend their hard-earned money on this stuff instead of just sending off for the ones that's in China for the 25, maybe the $100.
Some small countries. It is certainly more than the total wages paid to every worker in every Nike factory on the planet combined. Nike spends more on telling you about the shoe
That's
than it pays the
crazy.
people who make the shoe, by a factor that is difficult to justify using any logic other than brand economics. But here's the detail that most people miss, and it is the detail that explains everything that comes later. Nike does not own a single one of those factories. Not one. Nike does not manufacture anything. It designs shoes. It markets shoes. It builds the brand, signs the athletes, produces the commercials, and sets the price. But the actual physical act of making the shoe, cutting the leather, stitching the panels, molding the sole, assembling the pieces, that is done by contract factories that Nike does not own, does not control, and can leave at any time. 51% of Nike's footwear is currently made in Vietnam. 28% is made in Indonesia. 17% is made in China. The workers in these factories earn between $1.50 and $4 per hour, depending on the country. They are not Nike employees. They work for the factory owners, who are paid by Nike on a per-unit basis. The factory's gross profit margin on each pair of shoes is roughly 2%. The worker who assembles the shoe earns about $2.75 per pair. A typical worker stitches and assembles between 15 and 25 pairs per day.
Y'all seen that fake real? Fake and real. Fake and real. And that's 75%. That's 75% of what they do to make this. 75%. Fake and real.
75 cents per pair. A typical worker stitches and assembles between 15 and 25 pairs per day, earning roughly $40 to $70 for a day's work in Vietnam.
Wow.
Less in Indonesia, even less in Myanmar and Cambodia, where Nike has...
Now get this. For people that's out here, for you hustlers, niggas that's talking about hustling and doing this. You can pay a motherfucker maybe $120 and they'll make you what, 75 pair of Jordans that you could come over here and sell. You gonna you gonna break even and make money the first pair you sell. Imagine that. They make $40 a day and they make at least 25 shoes. Do the math. While y'all out here killing yourselves. And you still have enough. Shit, $140, you can have every pair of Jordans twice. Really?
has been shifting production. The conditions inside these factories have been documented extensively over the past 3 decades. In the 1990s, investigative journalists revealed that Nike subcontractors in Vietnam were paying workers 20 cents per hour and forcing overtime shifts of up to 65 hours per week.
Wow.
Workers were physically punished by supervisors for mistakes. Women, who make up roughly 80% of the footwear workforce, reported harassment and dangerous chemical exposure. Phil Knight initially dismissed the criticism. In 1998, under mounting public pressure, he gave a speech at the National Press Club acknowledging that Nike products were being made by young girls working in Indonesian factories and promising reforms. Conditions have improved since the 1990s. Nike now publishes its factory list and runs compliance programs. But the fundamental economics have not changed. The worker still earns less than $3 per pair. The shoe still sells for $250. And the gap between those two numbers still pays for everything else. The commercials, the athlete deals, the store lighting, the brand mythology that makes the markup invisible. Now think about that number in context. The worker who physically builds the shoe earns less than $3. The shoe sells for $250. The worker receives roughly 1% of the retail price. Nike's marketing budget alone, the money it spends on advertisements, athlete endorsements, and branding campaigns, is approximately $4 billion per year. Nike spends more on telling you about the shoe than it pays the people who make it by a factor of hundreds. None of this is secret. Nike publishes its factory list. Journalists have written about labor conditions for decades. Documentary filmmakers have gone inside the factories. The information is available, but the system continues because the brand is powerful enough to make you forget the math when you are standing in the store holding the shoe. The store lighting, the athlete photos, the swoosh, the story about Phil Knight and his waffle iron, all of it exists to put distance between you and the $2.75 pair of hands that stitched what you are holding. And
Well, I'm not gonna watch this whole thing with y'all, man. I just wanted to let y'all know, like, this is what we wasting our money on, man. And heavily the black community, to be honest with you. No, I ain't gonna lie to you to sound fly to you, my brothers. You know what I'm saying? That shit crazy. I don't know about y'all, but I'm finna approach this shit at a whole nother way. And when you see me wearing nothing but design and all that, don't say he got bread. Nah, I just got it for the low. I just got it for the low. Man, this is your boy, Big Motion, man. Y'all be careful out there, man. Be careful out there, man. Watch everybody around you. Watch your circle. Watch the motherfucker you sleep next to. This shit crazy out here. But until next time, peace.
Pick my city up from the giddy up, just like the Metro Transit, my city bus. Eat 'em up, since a young CD buck, been pretty plus sex in the city with pretty lady, pretty much. But all that pretty ain't really